Good evening, my non-existent viewers. It's me, TVB, and back in Centennial, back in my uncle's neighborhood in Colorado for the first time in a year and a half. And just got my friend Mark is going to be joining me pretty soon. We're going to see Nosferatu tonight. But before I get into my review for Nosferatu, this place right here next to the movie theater used to be Hopscotch. It was the bar that I used to go to, after I left Fort Collins, and that little grace period I had in between, leaving Fort Collins and internship China Mountain Zoo and Nebraska. When my Nebraska internship ended, that 4-month grace period I had in between leaving Nebraska and leaving Colorado for the Utica Zoo internship. So I've been here I'm going to be here in Colorado. I'm filming this on December 26th, the day after Christmas. Just visiting my mom and my uncle for a few days before, going back to Ohio. I just wanted to come by and give a special shout out to everyone I met at Hopscotch, because this was sort of my weekend refuge. During my YouTube hiatus, that February through March, April, and May of last year, 2023, I would drink at this place and hang out and meet people here. And unfortunately, it closed almost a year ago because I follow one of the line cooks on Instagram, and she was posting about how Hopscotch is closed, and I was like, no, my weekend watering hole. No, I'm so sad. But yeah, I gotta say, cause anyone who's been watching my videos, for the past year and a half, that's why probably knows this. I quit YouTube temporarily last spring because I was supposed to intern at another zoo in Oregon, but that didn't work out, unfortunately. So I decided to take a break from YouTube for 2.5 months. And during that 2.5 months time frame, I found myself coming here quite a bit. So to all the staff, all the other customers, all the new friends I met at this place before it closed, from the bottom of my heart, you guys know who you are. I really give you my thanks, because it was I'm not gonna lie, spring of 2023 was difficult, but also very productive at the same time, and that you guys made it all the more special. And then, rest in peace, Hopscotch. I miss this place very much. Mark, it's been a long time, my man.
Yeah, sorry.
No, dude, you look great.
Yeah. Okay.
So Nosferatu. So you've seen The Witch. I have not.
We're going left, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've seen the Lighthouse, and you have not. So between The Witch, The Northman, and Nosferatu, what's your Robert Eggers ranking?
I think The Witch is my favorite one.
Really?
Just because it's there's everything kind of flows very logically, and there's a movie about demon possession. Yeah, logically. But there's just kind of a very consistent logic to the world, and it flows nicely. And I mean, what I like most about Robert Eggers is kind of his attention to historical detail.
Yeah.
And
we're gonna make a left here, then make a right.
I think he did a great job with that, and this one was no exception. Nosferatu, I mean.
Yeah.
I think The Witch is best just because there's kind of a very consistent flow to it, and it's so, how do I put it? It's a much smaller story. It all kind of takes place in one farmstead.
Right.
So there's it's easier to follow, and just has this conclusion just makes a little more sense, I think.
Yeah, I would say
right here?
But on a traffic light.
Okay.
So I would say The Lighthouse. I've only seen it once. I've watched The Northman a few times, and I gotta say, this Nosferatu might just be my favorite, because I feel like this and all three films are not easy to watch. I had to be in a very particular headspace to rewatch it, because Nosferatu, like The Northman, I've watched a lot of violent and disturbing movies over the years, but this one had me squirming quite a few times. And the jump scares are really cliche in horror movies, but they were effective, well-timed, memorable jump scares.
Yeah, I thought the jump scares in the trailers were much cheesier.
Yeah, and
like the one in 28 Years Later, it's okay, obviously that's a jump scare. How can you not see it?
Yeah, exactly. And and Bill Skarsgård, between this movie and him as Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård in horror movies is Academy, wake up. The performances from Nicholas Hoult and Willem Dafoe, he's appeared in all of Robert Eggers' movies. Everyone did such a great job. The direction, the cinematography, the score, yes. And it's crazy because we were introduced to Nosferatu in that SpongeBob episode, The Graveyard Shift. Squidward's well, if it was you on the phone and you on the bus, and who was flickering the lights?
Well,
and it's
I knew about it from before that, because What happened is that in 8th grade, my teacher showed us like one of the first silent horror movies. Yeah, it was one of the it was one of the earliest silent horror films. So I was curious and started researching a little bit more the history of like horror movies, and Nosferatu came up, and that's how I learned about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I was, because like SpongeBob and Squidward in that episode are just like, Nosferatu! It's like, back then I knew of Nosferatu, but I never thought he'd get such a disturbing, like, R-rated remake all these years later.
I mean, from what I've heard, I haven't actually seen the movie. It was considered, for the time when it came out in 1922, it was considered, like, one of the scariest movies made to date.
Really?
Yeah. So, again, it was able to scare people back then, and I don't know how it would hold up now, but hey, it was very scary for the time. So
I'm honestly becoming a much bigger fan of just like R-rated super dark reimaginings of classic horror movie monsters, like with this and Wolfman coming out this January. That's right here. Yeah, there it is.
Ooh, that place scares me.
Yeah, and it's like, we saw The Northman together back in 2022, and that film tanked the box office, and we were in a really packed theater tonight as well. So, and it's like, I'm assuming this film is doing a lot better at the box office, and I really hope that it gets some buzz at the Academy this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, with all that being said, on your old scale of did I tell you I changed my rating scale from the 0 to 10? I do a 0 to 9 scale now.
Oh, okay.
Pretty similar to the 0 to 10 scale. 9 out of 9 is like movie of the year. 8 out of 9 is you love it, and a 5, 6, or 7 is like you liked it.
Yeah.
And a 4 is like meh, it's okay. A 2 or 3 is you didn't like it. A 1 is you hated it, and a 0 is honey, where's the bleach?
I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would give it an 8. Again, not easy to watch, but I had a blast. All right. Well, Mark, thank you so much for joining us in this review, and yeah, happy second day of Christmas. Have a good night.